Antarctica. Most of us know it as the blank part of the map, a white continent stretched out along the bottom of the page. And it wasn't until 200 years ago that any human beings had ever laid eyes on it. Today, it is still one of the most mysterious and difficult to reach places in the world. But just because it's hard to get to doesn't mean it can't be done. I boarded the MS Midnight Soul for a Hurtigruten expedition cruise to the White Continent at the bottom of the world. It would take 2 days of sailing from Ushuaia, the world's southernmost city, and it would be a rocky journey ahead on the rough seas of the Drake Passage. But as Antarctica grew closer, the ocean settled and the world transformed around us. Seemingly out of nowhere, an iceberg as large as an apartment building crossed our path, glowing a shade of blue I had never seen before, and on the horizon, white, snow-covered islands began to come into focus. Some people have it in their heads that Antarctica is a frozen wasteland at the bottom of the world, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. As I soon found out as we approached the site of our first landing, Antarctica is bursting with life. Amid the beautiful scenery of a world stuck in the Ice Age, delight quickly spread throughout the ship as passengers spotted black spots moving across the white landscape. Penguins. Hundreds of penguins. We could hardly wait to get closer, and below deck, the Hurtigruten expedition team were already taking out the Zodiacs, preparing for the first landing. Once in Antarctica, the ship's expedition team organized landing and cruising opportunities daily to give us the opportunity to get close to wildlife. On Couvreville Island, we walked among the penguins, and in Paradise Bay, we kept our eyes peeled for humpback whales as they surfaced among the icebergs. Despite the beautiful scenery, Antarctica was not always the most welcoming destination. The weather sometimes changed quickly, and when that happened, the crew of the Midnight Soul would change course and implement a plan B for our daily activity. But on the ship, we were never disconnected from our destination. Whether we were attending lectures given by the onboard scientist, working up a sweat in the gym, or soaking up the view in the hot tub, Antarctica was all around us, and we couldn't take our eyes off her. Early one morning, an urgent voice came over the ship's PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sorry to disturb you, but if you are not currently outside or standing by a window, we strongly recommend you get outside right now. The Midnight Soul had just passed through the Lemaire Channel and had arrived as far south as we would travel on this trip. For many of the passengers aboard, the farthest south that we would ever be. In front of the ship, a field of ice spread out as far as we could see. Rolling with the waves, the ice sparkled in the morning light, and from the deck we spotted seals sleeping like enormous boulders on the ice. Cameras went wild, and even the captain took a moment for a photo op. From then on, we'd begin our return journey, but the adventure wasn't over yet. For a few lucky passengers, they still had a night on the ice ahead. Once per cruise, Hurtigruten offers passengers the chance to become campers and spend a night sleeping on Antarctica. On this trip, they'd be camping on Danko Island, but they wouldn't be alone. As they set up their tents, hundreds of Gentoo penguins were hopping ashore. They turned out to make quite noisy neighbors, but the campers didn't mind. On the last day before we turned back for South America, I got even closer to Antarctica with a morning kayak in Wilhelmina Bay. Kayaking in Antarctica requires many layers of specialized dry suits, and the preparations took about an hour and a half before we were on the water. After a quick briefing from our kayak guides, we were free to glide through the pristine waters in our nimble kayaks. With icebergs towering over us, we set off towards an old shipwreck and kept our eyes peeled for penguins popping their heads out of the water. As the Midnight Soul returned to the Drake, it felt impossible to look away. I had come so far, and compared to the vastness of the continent, had seen so little, but every moment felt bigger than the last. Immense and endlessly beautiful. A trip of a lifetime.